So now that our cake is completely cooled, the only thing left to do is to destroy it, to make sure our hands are nice and clean, to crumble the cake up. So I'm basically just going to take chunks of cake just like this, and I'm going to make it into crumbly, crumbly, crumblies. So here we have a bowl full of crumbly cake. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add our buttercream frosting to the crumbly cake because we want it to become like a paste. We have to be very careful though. If we add too much frosting, then we won't be able to roll the cake dough into balls, which is exactly what we want to be able to do. So you start with a pretty good sized spoonful, and then you mix it in and you see what you've got. Now, this is another one of those moments where we get to use our hands. So kiddos, get in there and make a mess. Now, I can already tell that we don't have enough frosting yet. But we won't need lots more. And I know that because when I squeeze this together, it is staying put, but it's also still crumbling at the edges. So we don't have quite enough yet. Oh, I got a few little cake bits in there. And we'll just plop another spoonful or so. And get in there and mixy mix mix. Okay, so now the best way to test if this is ready is to take some and try to form a ball in the palm of your hands. If you've got a ball that is wonderfully smooth and that doesn't have any cracks in it, then you're ready. I still see a few cracks, so I'm inclined to put just a little bit more buttercream. Not a lot. You have to be very careful at this stage because, like I said, if you put too much in, then your cake balls will be far too wet. So we're going to add just a little bit more. So now with our finished cake pop dough, we're going to take a cookie sheet lined in parchment paper and we're going to roll our balls. Now, to make mine bite-sized, I'm going to try to make mine about an inch in diameter, 2.5 centimeters, so something like this. And then we're just going to set those down next to us. Alright, so here we have a tray of our cake pop balls. We're going to put this in the refrigerator, maybe cover it with some saran wrap, some clear foil for just 20 to 30 minutes, just enough to make the cake balls nice and hard, and then we'll be able to coat them in chocolate and decorate them. So we've returned to refrigerated cake pops right here. They're absolutely ready to be coated in chocolate and decorated. Now would normally be the time where we would take a popsicle stick, we would dip it in our melted chocolate, and we'd put a ball on top of the popsicle stick, and we'd let that set up so that the stick and the pop wouldn't come apart. But because we don't have sticks, we're going to skip the stick part and go straight to dipping in chocolate. Now, this is tricky, and they actually make tools to do this if you dip truffles in chocolate or things like that. But there are lots of items that you can use around the house to actually help you to dip these balls in chocolate and get them out of the chocolate and resting on your cookie sheet. So you can use forks that you have in your own house. You could use, these are little like fondue dipping sticks. You could even use, and this is a fun one I've never tried before, you can even use, this is a barbecue skewer, but you'd use the circle-y end to try and get the ball out of the chocolate. Basically, you just want something that's going to touch the ball as little as possible. So we're going to try out each of these tools because why not? So I'll take one of my little balls here and I'm just going to plop them down on my chocolate. I'm going to try the barbecue skewer first. And we're going to just roll him around a little bit. And the idea is to fish him out. We have to let the chocolate drop off. And now here comes the tricky part, is getting it off of the skewer. And we want this pretty, smooth surface to be on top. So I might even go for the fondue fork and see if I can just kind of push him off. That didn't work so bad. There's going to be a little gap there, which is kind of a bummer. And see, that's what we're trying to avoid, but sometimes you just can't. There will be chocolate goo around the outside. That's perfectly fine. You don't have to worry about that. But that's how we do it. So that's with the barbecue skewer. Let's see if I get any better luck with just the fondue forks. Rolling him around, rolling, rolling, rolling. All right, so now I guess what I would do is I'd scoop up from the bottom. Whoa, that did not work. Always fun. And then I'd set down. Oh, hey, that actually worked pretty well. So the fondue forks are winning. Let's see if I can try it with, what I have here is I have a bigger fork and then I have like my little dessert fork because I thought maybe having a smaller fork would work better. I've never actually done it this way because I always have popsicle sticks. Blech. All right, so then we would turn him with our fork. Looking pretty good so far, and then we would lift from the bottom. Oh, that picks up a lot of chocolate. That picks up a lot of chocolate. I'm pushing it onto my bigger fork to see if I can't dribble off some of that chocolate. Oh my goodness. So I'm thinking the dinner fork and the dessert fork are the worst ones because they collect so much chocolate. And then I guess we would just kind of push him off there. So the dinner fork and the dessert fork didn't work too bad. I think the barbecue skewer is kind of the losing one right now, just because he's so hard to get the ball off when you're done. So I'm going to get rid of all those. I think we're going to go with our fondue skewers because those seem to be working the best. And so one at a time, we're going to coat these in chocolate, making sure that they're spread out just a little bit so that they don't roll into each other. The other thing I'm going to do before these harden is I have prepared a crumble of Oreos. It's my favorite cookie. It's kind of a big crumble. I'm not super happy with it, but I am going to try and sprinkle some of my crumble on top of my cake balls. That's a massive chunk of cookie, but you know what? I like Oreos, so I just don't care. And just stick some on the top. And you'll have to do that as you roll these because once the chocolate hardens, you won't get anything to stick to it. Alright, so we finished all of our cake pops, our stickless cake pops. These are already starting to harden, so all that we want to do is just leave them and let them sit. You can put them in the refrigerator, but there is sometimes a danger of chocolate getting dusty looking when you cool it in the refrigerator. As long as your house isn't too warm, you can actually just leave these on the counter to let them set up. And when they are finished, we'll go ahead and cut one open so that you can see what you have made. We'll see you back soon. All right, so we have our finished stickless chocolate mint cake pop, and I just wanted to get up nice and close to show you what you've made. So we've got our crispy, crumbly Oreos on top. We have a nice chocolate-coated piece of cake pop, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this in half, if I can, through the crispy, crumbly cookies. There we go. And then on the inside, we reveal delicious cake. So let's see if it's minty enough. Whoops. Oh yes, fudgy, moist, and delicious. Enjoy.